Xavierians, Xaverians, Taga-Savior. Or, if you want to show off your Mandarin, Guangzi Xie Sheng. You can even call us X-Men. But whatever term you use, you can't deny that we have been innovators in almost every field. Business, science, government, education, and the arts. It is this versatility, among many other traits, that sets us apart. And yet Xavier School almost never came to be. In 1949, the Communist Party expelled all foreign missionaries from China. Uprooted from their mission churches in Shanghai, Hebei, Canton, and other parts of China, a handful of Jesuits from Canada and Europe found themselves on Philippine soil. Like St. Francis Xavier, these men believed they would be going to the mainland soon. And like St. Francis Xavier, they never did. It seemed that God had other plans for them. In 1955, the leaders of the Chinese-Filipino community in Manila asked French-Canadian Jesuit Father Jean Desautels for a new Jesuit school for Chinese students. It was to be called Ateneo de Chino. Thankfully, that name didn't stick. And thankfully, too, it didn't take long for Father Des to find the perfect location, a small piece of land in Echage worth 778,475 pesos. There was only one problem. All he had was 20,000 pesos. But, typical of the Jesuit spirit that drove Francis Xavier all over Asia, he was undaunted. Never mind that the first payment alone amounted to 100,000 pesos more than he had. Father Desautels turned to his friends in the Chinese community, his Jesuit superiors, his friends, and even the mother of one of his fellow priests for help. And by December 15 of that year, 1 hour before the deadline, he was able to raise enough money to make that first payment. So in June of 1956, 55 years ago, a 1.6-hectare warehouse in Echage became Xavier School Guangqi, opening its doors to its first 170 students. All because of a little resourcefulness, a little perseverance, and a lot of trust in the Lord. Xavier School was founded to teach the Chinese about God, not in China, but right here in the Philippines. That was just one of Project X's many innovations. Some of these innovations have been major. We were the first local Chinese school to have an English curriculum incorporating Chinese subjects, unlike the split curriculum still used by other Chinese schools today. To encourage students to speak English instead of Amoy, the first language of the Xavierians in the 50s, students were fined for not speaking English. At the end of every month, the money would be used to buy ice cream for the whole class. In the 70s, we were the first Jesuit school in the world ever to appoint a woman principal, Mrs. Jenny Go, the country's first lay administrator for a private school, and still the longest-serving principal in Xavier's history. Here's a sneakier example. When Xavier was moving campuses from Echage to San Juan, each student was required to borrow 6 books from the library. That way, the school was able to transfer 6,000 books without a cent spent on shipment. And that's how Xavier Guangqi moved from Echage to its present 7-hectare campus in Little Baguio, San Juan. Today's Xavierian is more confident, outgoing, tech-savvy, and sociable than ever. A big change from the shy, nerdy Xavierian of old. In fact, when the Nuvali campus opens, some of our students will be very different indeed. Because for the first time in our beloved school's history, there will be female Xavierians. The Xavierian is constantly changing. And so is the Xavier brand of learning. The The first big experiment in Xavier education happened in the 70s, led by Father Ismael Zuluaga. Appointed in 1966, Father Zuluaga became the school director just as Xavier was celebrating its 10th anniversary. He would occupy that post for 2 decades, helping to make Xavier School the leading educational institution it is today. Our iconic statue of the Sacred Heart, a gift to Father Zulu from his godfather, is a testament to his enduring legacy. Together with his principal, Mrs. Jenny Go, Father Zulu introduced a bold innovation that was way ahead of its time: the Individualized Instruction Method, or II. It was also the right time to do it. The 70s, after all, were an era of liberation, change, and student activism. The II system allowed students to learn at their own pace, with instructional materials and methods pre-designed to meet their specific needs. It was the first of many experiments in education in the history of Project X, all guided by one important question: what does it take to help the Xavierian become the best that he can be, so that he can share his gifts with others to make this world better? There is a word for this Jesuit ideal, and every Xavierian knows it: magis. To be more, to be better, not for yourself, but for the greater glory of God.